The Bert Show.
Time to get buzzed on the hot goss from Hollywood with Abby. It's the Bert Show's entertainment buzz.
And that's as smart as it gets here.
All right, let's keep up the stupid bit here now, because I was watching my new favorite comedy show from my favorite comedian, Taylor Tomlinson. If you don't know her, she's hysterical. She's like my exact brand of humor. And she's hosting this new late night comedy show called After Midnight. And sometimes she'll talk about things that she sees on TikTok or things that are sent to her. And she brought up this conversation about, do men have empathy naturally, or do women teach them?
With all due respect to our panel, most men don't have basic human decency. Don't believe me? Take it from a man.
One of the funniest things about growing up with no sisters is that I think I genuinely didn't learn empathy until I was 18. Then you get your first girlfriend or whatever, and you learn that other people have feelings and perspectives. You go, oh, I don't like when that's done to me, therefore I shouldn't do it.
Yes, it's our job to teach men empathy, and like most women's jobs, it's underpaid.
So let's find the lowest common denominator and use him as the shining example. Okay.
Every single time.
Every single time. All right, Melissa Joan Hart is expressing some remorse for how she was a not great role model to Britney Spears growing up in the 90s and early 2000s when they were both in the entertainment industry. So Britney Spears, I guess, went out clubbing with her for the first time when she was 17. And Melissa Joan Hart says, I feel really guilty about that still to this day because I should have known better being a big sister. Obviously, this was in the late 90s. Britney was growing up, and I think she has all this remorse now, seeing where Britney is at in her life and thinking, what could I have done better as somebody who was already a little bit more established? And could I have shown her, could I have not maybe influenced her into getting into certain things at a certain young age?
Yeah, she was in her 20s, though. Like, I feel like that's putting a lot of pressure on her.
Right.
And you're not responsible for other people's actions. Like,
exactly. Because, like, I mean, in college, it's, you know, a bunch of 21, 22-year-olds and all these 18-year-olds coming into college. Mm-hmm. And we're all doing the same thing. Like, come on, Capasiga's having a rage. Let's get some hunch punch. Drink the hunch punch out of the funnel. I feel like you have to give yourself some grace. But I think it's hard to do that when you see a path that someone's taken and you're like, oh, my God, could I have done anything to maybe make their life a little bit less I hate to use the word tragic, but I feel like Britney's getting to tragedy levels.
I feel like what's going to happen is going to happen. Like, if Melissa Joan Hart hadn't have taken her to her first club, I'd be hard pressed to believe that Britney still wouldn't be in the same situation that she is now. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, I feel like I don't even want to really call it destiny, but I think certain things are just going to happen regardless of other people's perceived influence.
Yeah, she was Britney Spears, one of the biggest pop stars of all time. Somebody was going to take her to a club at some point.
Of course.
I think maybe the point that she's making is like, oh God, I took her to a club when she was 17. Sure, she was going to go to a club eventually, but would it have been when she was underage and that young? No one really knows for sure. All right, Tom Hanks is getting some insight from Drake, from his son, about the Drake and Kendrick Lamar beef. This is just classic dad moves. So, of course, Drake and Kendrick Lamar having this massive rap beef that everybody's talking about. And if you're not entrenched in the rap world, it can be a little confusing because there's like years of history with certain diss tracks coming out, with different insults coming out from, you know, years of beef and underlying tension. And so you need someone to explain it to you like you are 5 years old if you're just now catching up on things. And so Tom Hanks goes to his son and says, hey, can you explain the Drake and Kendrick Lamar feud to me? So then Chet texts him back and he's like, pretty much it's the sonic equivalent of when you took me to your high school in Oakland and we walked in on the basketball game and everyone started going nuts. Like, if you heard it, you would automatically know how to crip walk with the stank face while clutching an Oscar in each hand with Marshawn Lynch, and then dap him up and tell him town business, which solidified the win not only for Kendrick, but the entire West Coast. And then, of course, Tom has the most classic Tom Hanks response to that kind of text. He goes, holy cow, these are fighting words. People taking sides? Who's winning? And then his son Chet ends up replying, "Did you not read what I just said? Did none of this sink in with you?" And I feel like we all could, if you weren't in the rap, if you don't know much about the rap game, I feel like we were all Tom Hanks at some point trying to get caught up on everything that's been going on for the last decade.
Chet did a great job of like breaking it all down from A to Z. He crushed it. But as soon as I was reading it, I was like, Tom Hanks not reading all this. Like, there ain't no way. Who won, bro?
All right, there's a reason Diddy didn't directly apologize to Cassie in his apology video from over the weekend. I will explain why on your next eBuzz on The Bert Show.
The Bert Show.